Right, welcome. This is going to be the multivariate data and assessment. We're going to go step by step. This is the first one. This is the problem video. Of course, the whole cycle for multivariate data is this one. PPDAC, problem, plan, data, analysis, conclusion. This is the first video, so we're going to try to cover problem. So I'm going to use the slides from Google Classroom, the one that's up. And you can, of course, access these and have a look at them. And we're going to go step by step on how to write. When we have to do it, we have to write all these steps. So the actual assessment, you'll also have to write a bunch of stuff in the problem part, a bunch of stuff in the plan part, in the data, analysis, conclusion. So each of these parts is a section for us to fill. So let's talk about how we write up the problem. Okay. Before we write, I have to quickly talk about this. There's generally two types of data we're talking about, qualitative and quantitative. Qualitative means the descriptive data, which just means things that describe, and the data would be usually in words. So things like gender, or things like the genres of movie you like. That kind of stuff is qualitative. Quantitative is the numerical one, and us particularly, we will be using continuous data, which is the measured stuff. So things like weight, height, length, that kind of stuff is the data we're comparing. So what's going to happen is we're going to pick two groups and compare some sort of continuous data, something continuous about both of them. So maybe we're going to compare weight, but we'll be comparing the weight of both of these groups. We'll be using the same thing. So let's have a look. This slide here. So other than that last slide that I showed you, I reckon this slide is probably one of the more important ones, because this sentence here outlines how you will need to write up the problem sentence. So this is quite important. We just need to fill in the right information in the boxes when we write our part. So let's have a look at some data, shall we? Because we are going to have to look at some data. You are going to look at a big spreadsheet, and we're going to have to choose our problem. So let's do an example. Let's head on over to NZ Grapher and use some of their data sets. So I'm going to use the Kiwi dataset in NZ Grapher. It's just commonly used, right? And it's just here. Okay. So we are going to try to compare two groups of Kiwi. So they're all going to be Kiwi, but two groups inside, the big population that is Kiwi birds. Okay. This is the data part, so I'm not going to explain what we're choosing here yet, but I'm just gonna show you what it's gonna be. Numerical. So the thing that we're gonna compare. So the data that we have is we got species, we got gender. So if you look at we're looking at this part here. You can see weight, height, and location. And location being where they live. So of course, when we say we're going to compare some measured stuff between two groups, it's going to be either weight and height. We can't choose species, gender, or location. That's not a measured number. So we're going to have to say we're going to compare either the weight or the height. And you can choose whichever one. But right now, at the moment, I'm going to choose weight to compare. I'm going to say I'm going to compare weight, and I'm going to compare weight between two groups. Now, Kiwi birds being an animal, there's one easy way to compare, to set it apart in two groups, and that's normally gender, right? So here it is. What we can do is we can say, I wonder if female Kiwi birds and male Kiwi birds, I wonder if their weights are different. Right? I wonder if their weights are different. And I know I already got the data set up, but when we're wondering this, before you are writing your problem, you will already have a spreadsheet like this, like an Excel spreadsheet. You will have a bunch of data to work with, and you'll have to choose what you will do, what question you will try to figure out. All right, so having a look at this here, we're going to have to choose the measured one, so like weight or height. And then we'll have to say, okay, 2 groups within this giant sheet of kiwi. And then maybe we can, so we have, in this example, decided, oh yeah, let's compare males and females, right? Species, there's more than 2 species, and location, there's more than 2 locations. There's quite a few locations. So that's why I've said, you know what, let's do gender. So let's have a look, and let's go back and see what that looks like on our write-up, right? So we've chosen our continuous data that we're going to do, which is our kiwi bird weight, right? And our 2 groups is going to be male and female kiwi birds. So here we go. Let's have a look at this one. Now, I wonder if the something of group A. Okay, so let's try this route. Let's say I am writing this up, right? So I would say problem, and that'll be my sort of my title, that'll be my heading. And then I'm going to say, I wonder if and the variable I want to choose, I want to write in the thing that I'm comparing. And I think we just decided upon weight, so I'm going to say weight. I'll make it bold just so that we can see the parts that I'm filling in. And of course it says in the bracket, it says unit. And if you looked at the data that we had, it was in kilograms. So I'm going to say kilograms of group A. And let's have a look at group A. What was group A? It was, I wonder if the weight of, let's say, female kiwi birds tend to be, and direction is, it just means words like bigger or smaller or higher, lower, that kind of stuff. So I wonder if the weight of female kiwi birds tend to be, I'll say larger. You can say heavier, doesn't matter. Than the, and variable unit, it's the same thing again. Weight, that's kilograms. Of, now group B, what's the other group we are comparing? So female kiwi birds, we're comparing them with male kiwi birds. And now we have this last bit here, population, right? Now female kiwi birds and male kiwi birds all put together, they are part of a larger population, right? They're not separate, female and male kiwi birds. So the whole population we're looking at is, of course, just the kiwi birds in New Zealand. All right. So that would be our problem sentence. If we were using the kiwi bird data and we're making this question, this is how I would write it in. I wonder if, and then all of these boxes. So it's the same sentence. The top sentence here with the boxes, the bottom sentence is the same sentence, just with the things put in it, right? Variable, group A, group B, direction, and population, right? And that's it. That's problem. There's one more thing you can do, and it's called hypothesis. And I would write it like this. I'd say hypothesis. And this still kind of goes along with problem. This sort of pairs up. So we write it up together like this. Problem, that sentence there. Hypothesis is what you think would be the case. And I know we just saw the graph, saw the dot plot, but this is our guess. And don't just make a plain guess from what you might imagine. You can Google stuff and try to make assumptions about why that might be the case. So, I'll have a look. I'll And I can start. I think that. So do I think female kiwi birds would be larger or heavier, or not heavier? And then you can make your assumption. You don't need to be right or wrong with this one. It doesn't really matter. This is your guess, and your hypothesis can be wrong. Your hypothesis can be right. Either way, that's okay. But the point is that you have a look. You can Google female kiwi birds. Why are they heavier? Why are they heavier? And you can have a look at that stuff and write it in here. So I think that female kiwi birds will tend to be heavier than male kiwi birds. The word tend is going to be really important, by the way. We really need that there. But if you are using this one here to write up your sentence, you should be fine because tend is already in there. So no worries. I think that the female kiwi birds will tend to be heavier than male kiwi birds. This is because it's taller on average. Let's imagine that I looked stuff up on Google and I just found some information on kiwi birds and male and female kiwi birds. This could cause. Now remember, I'm not sure yet. This is a hypothesis, so I'm making an educated guess, and I'm writing in everything that I'm guessing and why I think so. So all the things that you Googled, yep, write it up here. This could cause the female birds to be heavier, right? And I think that's enough. We don't need to write too much, right? They have the eggs and stuff, so I'm gonna say female kiwi birds probably will be heavier. I might be wrong, but let's find out is the point. And this is it. That's kind of it. So of course, if you are looking at your data set and you're writing this in, you're writing something very similar, but you are not talking about female kiwi birds and male kiwi birds. Of course, you're talking about something else. But the sentence should be very similar, right? Very similar to this, just with different words in it. Okay? So, of course, let me know if you run into any problems while you're doing yours. But that's the problem part of your assessment, right? And we go enter, 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 and we carry on with the next part. All right? So hopefully that helps. Email me if you have any questions. And yeah, see you in the next video.